Hey guys, how's it going? So this video is going to kind of be two parts. The first is another call to action that we need to get on because our Second Amendment rights, our God-given liberties are under attack yet again in the state of Michigan by Gretchen Whitmer, Attorney General Dana Nessel, and others. And the second part of this video is going to be my follow-up or rebuttal to the governor, VR if you will, for all of the fake news and all the propaganda she's been spewing against good people, including me and many of you who were at the Michigan rally, the Patriots rally, on April 30th, 2020. So first of all, here's what's going on. As you guys know, there was a peaceful protest, a beautiful protest, peaceful people, nice people, at the state capitol on the 30th. This was a Patriots rally. I did two videos about it, one announcing it, one showing you what was going on. Go back and watch my previous videos if you haven't. And ever since then, the governor's been on there with a bunch of propaganda. And I finally figured out what this is all about. And this is about taking away our God-given rights that weren't granted to us or given to us by, of course, not the governor of Michigan. She's like nobody in the grand scheme of things, right? They weren't even given to us by the founding fathers. No, these are our rights that were given to us by our Creator, endowed on us. Amongst these, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, and the right to keep and bear arms, freedom of speech, religion, many things that we cherish, and what makes America America, and what makes Michigan Michigan, right? Well, here's the deal. You guys need to call your state representatives, your state senators. I'm calling mine, but I can't do it alone. We all need to get together again, because as I've often said, they're never going to stop. So they're trying to ban guns on the Capitol grounds. There were a lot of peaceful protesters there, peaceful rally, and a lot of people exercised their right to keep and bear arms as just good, peaceful Americans. As you know, there were no problems there. Nothing. Most peaceful rally I've ever been at. Just people exercising their rights, making their voices heard to their elected representatives, their senators, their state reps. And now there's this commission I found out about that regulates the rules of the Capitol building and the Capitol grounds. Yeah, a commission. Bureaucrats, people that I'm doing more research on, but I don't believe are elected in general. A lot of them are just appointed, and here's what we need to do. They're going to have a meeting tomorrow, which is the 11th of May. May 11th. And the first thing on the agenda meeting is them looking to see if they can ban firearms at the Capitol. Open carry, maybe concealed otherwise, but they're looking to ban the open carry of firearms, which many people did. Hundreds of people did peacefully just about a week and a half ago. And there's question as to whether they can do that or not, and I'll tell you right away, in my opinion, no, they can't. The commission can't do this. There's no law. We have legislators in Michigan, and they've never passed a law to ban open carry. So, to me, no. No. Michigan's top lawyer, the Attorney General, Dana Nessel. Dana Nessel. She's now put out a letter saying that, yes, she believes this commission can ban open carry. Now, they're going to try to do this. They're going to try to ban open carry. At the very least, probably all forms of carry, in my opinion, at the Capitol. But it's on the meeting. So here's what you guys need to do. Call your state reps. In my case, Joe Bellino. I'm going to be calling him tomorrow to urge him. No, don't let this happen. There is no law. My state senator, Dale Zorn, same thing. If you live in Monroe County area, call Zorn. Call Bellino. Whoever your state rep and senator is. And if you don't know who they are yet, you better get with it. Because our rights are under attack. And they didn't give us our rights, but they're sure as heck trying to take them away. So we need to stop this. It's in the very, very preliminary right now, but they're definitely talking about banning guns on the Capitol grounds, our state capitol, the People's Capitol building that you and I and all of us work so hard with our tax dollars to maintain. So they're going to get by with this if we don't stand up. See, we did a great job at the rally. Such a good job, they're realizing, oh crap. They're starting to call us out on our BS a little bit. So now they're doing what they usually do. They're doubling down, and they're going to keep doubling down. So call your reps, call your senators, let them know what's going on. I'm going to try to get more information on this commission. It's a little bit shady in my opinion, but we'll see what the deal is with it. You know, I'll check on the commission later and see if there's a way that we can get a hold of these commission members directly. So that's the deal. We need to stop them from trying to ban firearms at the state capitol of Michigan. And by the way, ever since this rally, I was there. I took video footage, lots of video footage. I released some of it. A lot of it I still have on my computer, and I can release more if necessary. And let me tell you what I saw. I saw patriots uniting under a common purpose of just liberty. People wanting to get back to work. People wanting to be Americans again. Being able to enjoy all of their God-given rights. Freedom of religion. They didn't want to be told they couldn't go to church service anymore. That their eternity is at stake here, and they need to worship their Creator in the way they see fit. That's what the Founding Fathers said. And that's what a lot of Michiganders that were at that rally wanted and were demanding. I also saw people exercising their right of free speech, because the Founding Fathers acknowledged that Congress cannot pass any law abridging the freedom of speech. Congress didn't give us the right to free speech. Our Creator did. But they're strictly forbidden from trying to prohibit or abolish free speech or press. As I said earlier, religion. Just the right to generally move about the state of Michigan and move about the country, as protected in the United States Constitution as amended. Just the general right to pursue life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. Basically just to be a free human being. In this grand experiment on self-governance, as Ben Franklin said, we have a republic if you can keep it. These were patriots trying to keep the republic, our constitutional republic. Because, see, we don't have a democracy. A democracy is basically two wolves and a sheep voting on what's for dinner. That's mob rule. No, we have a republic where we elect representatives that are going to represent the wishes of their local constituents. People that are rather close to home. In my case, people like Representative Joe Bellino, who I've talked to face, who I've sent direct messages to. People that are available to hear the concerns and the demands of their constituents that they publicly serve in our state capital of Lansing. You know what happened? They were going to have a vote there. The day of the rally, the legislative branch was in session, the House and the Senate. And the governor was asking for another 28 days for her to have absolute power, more power than what the executive generally ever could dream of. Well, she's had that power, and in my opinion, it went to her head. And like many politicians, she got a little taste of power and she just wanted more and more and more. Well, here's what happened. The people were there. They spoke. The building's round. They call it a rotunda. It's round. Different floors. It just goes in a big circle in the Capitol building. The people were out there peacefully assembling, constitutionally protected, God-granted right, and they went inside as they were ready to vote, to let our voices be heard, to our representatives, our senators. And guess what? They heard our voices. They did not vote to renew her virtually unchecked power that basically allows her to act as a queen or an empress or something totally different than how a leader should ever be in America. No, they did not vote to extend it. Now, there's a couple statutes that she claims to draw her power from. One written in 1945 and one written in 1976. And the laws that were passed by the legislative branch were signed by the duly elected governors of that time and upheld by our judicial branch, separate branches of government. Kind of what makes us this grand republic of the United States of America rather than a banana republic is the fact that we have 3 separate branches. And it clearly states in there that anything longer than 28 days has to be authorized by the legislators. We were out there, we were yelling so that they could hear us. Because of social distancing, they closed the galleries. Some of the House had to vote in the gallery. It wasn't that the people didn't want to be closer to their legislators. They had no choice but to stand out in the hallways and yell, hoping that behind these big hardwood doors that they could hear us. What are you supposed to do? Just stay at home and lay down and let your governor declare herself an empress? To declare herself the queen? No. No. When the lady asked Ben Franklin at the founding of this country, what have we, sir? A monarchy or a republic? He said, a republic if you can keep it. We were there trying to keep our republic because we don't want a monarchy in the United States of America or in the state of Michigan. So we were out there and we sang the national anthem and we yelled, let us in. because we wanted our duly represented members of the legislature, our duly elected, the people that live in our communities, that are there just to serve the people, that they're honored to represent, that people like Joe Bellino are honored to represent, and your representative, people like Speaker Lee Chatfield. There's some good ones in there, guys. And here's the thing. We had no choice but to scream and yell. We had locked doors. The meeting, the voting was completely closed off. They were in session. There's metal panels on the floors where when you stomp your feet it echoes. That's what you do. It's called the voice of the American people. It's not that you're out of line or unruly when you do that. No, you're being a real American and a real Michigander, and you're exercising your rights. Because rights not exercised just get forgotten about and lost. And these aren't just like kind of sort of like, oh, by the way, maybe it's a good idea. No, these are rights that literally were given to us by our Creator, as acknowledged from the Founding Fathers, and protected in the Bill of Rights. First Amendment, Second Amendment rights here. People chose to go in there armed. And I've heard the governor saying, and this is what I would say to you, Governor Whitmer, and you won't watch my channel. I don't know if you just can't understand the truth or if you just want to keep putting your head in the sand. But here's the thing. Since I've not been able to get a meeting or interview with the governor, I'll talk to her here. Here's your problem, Governor Whitmer. You got a little bit of power, a little bit too much power. And people like you don't deserve that much power. Because what you did is you made yourself very untrustworthy to the Michigan people. Yeah, a lot of people got sick. And let me say this right now. I care about people's health just as much as you do. Probably even more. And here's why I'm going to say that. Because I'm not trying to start crap. And I'm not trying to sit there and pin people against each other and hope that eventually some kind of violence ensues so I can get some agenda passed. And in my opinion, that's what you're trying to do. And let me tell you where this all started from. You're the governor of Michigan. You're supposed to have the best interest of 10 million people. And you said in order to try to keep us safe, you were going to put out these executive actions and these rules. And then you started just to not make any sense. See, I'm not a lawyer. I don't have a fancy college degree. I have the smallest college degree you can have. But I have common sense. And here's the problem. You started saying things that require the listener to be dumber than the speaker. And that's where you went wrong. And that's why so many of us do not respect you and are exercising our God-given rights to protest against you. Because you made rulings saying that people couldn't buy seeds for their garden. You wanted them to socially distance and not go out in public. And you separated the seeds off at the big box stores where people couldn't grow a garden in the privacy of their own yard and home. Now that doesn't make sense to somebody like me. Where you want us to socially distance, fine, great, I'll just live off the land and plant my own vegetables. But no, you said we couldn't get seeds. What's up with that? That sounds a little bit creepy and scary to me. How about at home? Let's just remodel the house and get the house straightened up, Paint your little girl's bedroom. Can't go anywhere? Because again, a lot of us care about keeping people safe and we're trying to, respect people with pre-existing conditions, just like I have been. You can't buy paint. You can't paint the inside of your house because people are getting sick. See, that didn't make any sense either. And then you tried to evoke things that they call the Green New Deal under the guise of trying to help keep people from getting sick. And that's a dirty trick. And we're wise to it. See, that's not cool, Gretchen. To think that we're so stupid that we didn't know what you were doing because you said that under social distancing and to keep people safe, that they could go out in a kayak or they could go out on a rowboat, but they couldn't use a motorboat. And then you said, well, that's because they're going to get more gas. That's what you said. But in my opinion, what you really meant is you didn't want emissions. You didn't want the exhaust fumes. While all of your people in Lansing drive around in their motor vehicles, I saw countless squad cars running around the Capitol, different vehicles that have gasoline combustion engines at the Capitol, burning gasoline. And then you said, well, you don't want people to stop at gas stations because they could spread germs. Let me tell you what, people are going to the gas station just to get out of the house. Because people don't want to just sit at home and just stare at the wall all the time. Because it's not just about a flu, Gretchen, it's about mental health. And people aren't meant to just to sit in cages. You certainly didn't sit in a cage. You were traveling all about during the quarantine and lockdown. People were going to go to the gas station regardless, which, by the way, even according to your own executive actions, your dictations to we the people, to the peasant class, where you said, you can still go to the gas station. So guess what? We can still go to the gas station. Half of your orders just didn't make any sense. You know, sitting there saying you can go out in a rowboat and a kayak. Well, guess what? This is the Great Lakes state. I grew up on one of the Great Lakes, literally feet away from it. Still live feet away from one of the Great Lakes today. Let me tell you what, if a storm kicks up on Lake Erie, it's not especially safe to be in a kayak or a little rowboat where the waves are coming over the back of the boat and you just can't row in fast enough. You really concerned about people's safety? But you're not letting people go out with a motor on their boat while they're trying to socially distance and catch food for themselves to eat? Fish? Aquatic wildlife in the lake that they could feed their families with? With the seeds that they could grow in their gardens to feed themselves with, locked up behind the caution tape at the Lowe's and Home Depot and many stores other? What you're saying just didn't make any sense. And when you stood up there during all your press releases, not only did you not make a lot of sense, but you always had a real smug look on your face. Kind of a little to you. Don't think that we didn't catch that. You come off as snide, you come off as snarky. And then when we went to exercise our rights, to say a lot of what you're saying doesn't make any sense here. See, you, Gretchen, might not be able to chew gum and walk at the same time, but we the people can. And we knew with many of our professions there was ways for us to safely go back to work and live our lives while still completely respecting people who are vulnerable and preventing them from getting sick and using our best judgment just because we're good people and we want to do that anyways, right? But you didn't think we could handle that. And that's insulting to people to sit there and hear that. So we went there and we exercised our rights to speak, to peaceably assemble, to keep and bear arms. And what did you do? You came back and doubled down and said, well, now, because you guys came out to this peaceful protest, this rally, you might have to extend the stay-at-home orders? That doesn't make you sound like a good governor, and that doesn't make it sound like you have the people's best interest in mind. It makes you sound petulant. It makes you sound tit for tat. It makes you more people further lose respect for you. So if you want to know why we were there, that's why. Because we have duly elected representatives and senators. We want our voices to be heard. And we also wanted our fellow citizens, our fellow Americans, Michiganders, to know that we have each other's back. Now, you said we stormed the Capitol building. Armed men stormed the Capitol building. No, not at all, actually. I was there. I have video footage to prove it. And I've already showed quite a bit of it, and I'll bring out more if I need to. There was a single file line to go into the Capitol. Because of your social distancing orders, only a few people were allowed in there at a time. People stood in an orderly, peaceful line to get in, and peacefully let the state troopers that were there take their temperature on their forehead. Now, pardon me, but people storming the Capitol doesn't sound like they're going to just stand there in a peaceful single file line and get their temperatures taken before they go in. Okay? Second of all, there weren't a couple hundred people at the rally like you say you were. There were a couple thousand. Just on the property alone, including that the streets, that's not to mention that the streets were also completely gridlocked, adding hundreds if not thousands of more people that were there. So there were a lot more of us than what you want to admit to, which I know scares you, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. You don't need to be afraid of us carrying arms on the Capitol, do you? Is there any reason, Gretchen, why you would want to be afraid of us? Because here's what I saw happen. Hundreds of people brought in all kinds of guns, ones that you lied about and said were fully automatic, but they weren't. And if you don't understand firearms, you shouldn't lecture us like you do, because it exposes your sheer ignorance to the subject matter. You want to ban something you're completely ignorant on. Because no, people didn't have machine guns there. They had semi-automatic firearms. Not full automatic. Not automatic, semi-automatic. Look it up, Gretchen. It might make you look a little bit smarter before you open your mouth next time. Now, hundreds of people were inside the Capitol with firearms, because there's no law prohibiting it, and it's a right that's given to us by our Creator, and Congress says shall not be infringed? Huh? The Founding Fathers and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So there you go. Now, if we were such violent people, how were there hundreds of people with guns and nobody fired a shot? Because nobody did fire a shot. Not one shot was fired. Because these were good people and peaceful people. Nobody was there with those firearms as acts of aggression. They were there in self-defense. Because let me inform you of this, Gretchen. Do you want to know why so many people in the United States and in Michigan have been buying firearms by the millions since people started getting sick and there was this state of emergency declared? It's not because any of us think that we can catch a flu virus in the air and shoot it out of thin air and stop it from entering our body. None of us really think that, okay? Look, we're not the stupid ones here. None of us think that. The reason why there were millions of firearms purchases because people don't trust the government. Because people don't trust you. And the way you get on TV and talk about things and try to create propaganda, I think you're giving us reason not to trust you. That's why we came there armed. Not on the offensive, but on the defensive. To defend ourselves against you and against the tyrannical government. And another thing that you said happened is it was a racist rally. Give me a break. Give me a break. This song and dance is getting so tiring from you people, Gretchen. This isn't about race. Don't try to distract us. There were people of all different colors there. Colored colors, white, black, Hispanic, yellow, brown. There was people that had pink in their hair, and it looked really cute, actually, okay? There was all kinds of people there, all different colors, all different creeds. No, it wasn't about race whatsoever. Yeah, there were black people there. Like I said, how many were there? I have no clue. Because unlike you, I'm not worried about what the color of people's skin is, Gretchen. I didn't keep track of what the ratios were to white, yellow, brown, black people. I didn't keep track of that. You know why? Because I didn't care. I saw fellow patriots that are just trying to survive and feed their families. And what color they were was the last thing on my mind. I was there to protest you. You said that you saw nooses. I did not see one noose there, nor did I see anybody that saw it. And I started asking people, because I know a lot of people that were there. Nobody saw a noose there. But you said there was. And I think that you're basically propagating fake news. And you're trying to start racial divisions. People are sick right now, Gretchen. Why do you want to start racial divisions? There's no racial division between us patriots. We didn't even look at what color each other were. Are you kidding me right now? But you want to talk about race? So easy to see through. It's so easy to see through. This is always what you people do. I know you're kind, Gretchen. I know what you try to do. You're trying to divide us, but it's not working. Because see, we don't care what color we are. We're just friends. We're just neighbors with each other. We're just fellow patriots for the common cause of trying to keep America and keeping Michigan. See, we don't want to live under a monarchy. Don't you get it yet? And loving freedom and loving this republic, it doesn't see race. Lady Justice wears a blindfold and has a set of scales and a sword. She doesn't see race either. Apparently you and your people are the only ones that even see race, because none of us even talked about it. But I have to address it because I've had to hear 150 times that this was a racist rally. There were American flags there like crazy. There were "Don't Tread on Me" flags. And that means just what it says. It means don't tread on me. There's this one picture floating around where there was some form of a Confederate flag. Stars and bars, as people call it. Whatever, okay? I'm not an expert on all these flags. It was in the public street that circles the Capitol. I did not see one single flag like that on the whole Capitol grounds, first of all. On the public street. So Gretchen, let me ask you this. If you and your family were sitting there in your gated community, I know this probably wouldn't happen to you because you live in a gated community, right? But most of us don't. If you're having a picnic with your family on the front yard and somebody drove down the road with a Confederate flag strapped to the bumper of their truck, would that mean your family's racist? I don't think so. So how dare you say that we were racist because someone drove down the street with a Confederate flag in front of the Capitol? Was there another one there? I don't know. That's the only one that I saw, and that was in pictures from the fake news that you keep holding up. On the public street. Because, as I'm going to say one more time, it wasn't about race. And by the way, even if someone did have a Confederate flag, I wasn't flying one there. There's plenty of pictures of me there, proving that I wasn't. I had a camera in my hand, papers in my hand, was working on trying to see what was going on with legislation. I had more important things to worry about. I could care less what color people were. That had nothing to do with being there. And if somebody did have a Confederate flag, so what? This is the United States of America, freedom of speech. If somebody wants to have a flag like that, with the best of intentions, guess what? Great, it's the United States. And if that person does have hate in their heart, which, let me clarify, most people that I know that have that flag, it's not because they have any hate in their heart, okay? But even if they did, guess what? They're allowed to have hate in their heart. Pray for them. Sucks to have hate in your heart, but guess what? They can have it if they want it. It's just called being a human being. That's none of our business either, really. But no, of course we don't condone hate. Nobody even thought about that, except for you and the fake news, Gretchen. Now, you went on to say that there were all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. No, there wasn't. Give me a break. There was nothing crazy going on there. There might have been one or two people getting loud right outside the House chambers, but that's just because they wanted to get in to see what was going on with the vote. They didn't want to attack their legislators. Are you guys kidding me? Are you guys kidding me? All these pictures of armed men on the balconies of the Senate looking down. If they wanted to do something, they would have done something, Gretchen. Come on now. Come on. Are you just being willingly stupid, or are you just trying to stir the pot and start crap? Nobody was there to hurt anybody. Because if they were, they probably would have done so. Because I learned this in life a long time ago. If somebody wants to do something more than anything in this world, they usually do it. And no type of law, no type of gun-free zone ever stops anything like that. You making the state capitol a gun-free zone, in fact, what it'll do is make the law-abiding people vulnerable. It'll make the representatives and the senators more vulnerable. Because there were a lot of good people there armed. And if there would have been one crazy person, one person that was just evil, despicable, that wanted to open fire that day at the rally, it would have lasted all of half a second. It would have been put to a stop by all the good, God-fearing, Michigan-loving patriots that were there. It's a proven fact. More guns is less crime. Look it up. John Lott wrote a book on it. I have statistics, Gretchen. All you have is rhetoric. See? So, I just want to let you know, we're wise to you, and we know what's going on. And you need to cut out the BS. Because in my opinion, I had my questions about you. And no, I didn't vote for you. But I said, well, let's see what she can do. I'm not going to give you your exact quote because I like to keep this a family-friendly channel. But you said the real word, but I'm going to abbreviate. You said you were going to fix the dang roads. Look at the roads. The roads are complete crap. Unemployment, record levels, Great Depression levels in the state of Michigan, and you're worried about whether somebody has a motor on the back of their boat while they're going out to try to fish and feed their family, while you and your failed unemployment system are putting people through red tape, and you can't even call somebody if you have a question when you're filing unemployment? And you want people to actually sit there and think that you have our best interest in mind when you sit there with that smug little hee look? I'm sorry, it's not cute, okay? And you're not cute. And none of this is funny. And when people go there to exercise their God-given rights, yeah, this is what America's all about. If you don't like America, tough luck. You're living in the state of Michigan, in the United States of America. And this is our state, too. And this is our country, too. And if you don't hold dear our God-given rights, then shame on you. Don't try to put shame on us. We're the good guys, okay? We're the good guys. We're the Americans here. If you don't like Americans' rights, do what you always tell us to do. Go vote. Vote for your local state representative that's going to try to tear down the Constitution, if that's what you want. But up and until then, this is America, Gretchen. It doesn't really matter what you have to say about it. Our rights go over your head because they weren't given to us by the Founding Fathers. No, they weren't. They were given to us by our Creator, and all the Founding Fathers did is prohibited government from even daring to think about infringing or treading upon them. So, I'm going to leave you with this. Why don't you cut to the chase and start actually trying to be a governor for once? Stop trying to run for Vice President of the United States. First of all, in my opinion, go ahead. I'd love to see you move out of the state of Michigan and go to Washington. That's fine with me. But at the same time, you're getting paid by taxpayer dollars right now to take care of some issues here at home in Michigan. And if you're up there grandstanding, the time you were grandstanding on national television, telling lies, things that just are not true. You said so many things, Gretchen, that just aren't true about that rally on the 30th. And you wasted a lot of taxpayers' time doing that, trying to create divisions between good people. You should have been on the phone bank for the unemployment office. Just think how many phone calls you could have answered and helped get people signed up for their unemployment while you were sitting there trying to start some kind of race war in Michigan. Hey, it's over, Gretchen. I know that's your old tried and true trick, but there was no race war at this rally. We didn't care what color we were. And I know you wanted us to be racial against each other, but we just weren't. And we got along great. And it stinks, but you're just going to have to deal with that, see? You might be miserable, but we're not miserable. We were there having a great time, okay? So that's what I would say to you, Gretchen. I'm sure you're not going to watch this, but I'm going to leave you with this. You know, it's pretty clear in the Bill of Rights that Congress shall pass no law abridging, your religion, your freedom of speech. Now, the Second Amendment's a little bit different, though. Because everything else in the Bill of Rights, it tells you the what, but it doesn't tell you the why. So I'm going to tell you why people were there bearing arms during this Freedom Patriot rally. I'm going to tell you exactly why. Because these were true Americans, and they understood the necessity, as the Founding Fathers did. Because, again, these aren't suggestions. This is the Bill of Rights, granted to us by God, protected by the Bill of Rights. And here's what the Second Amendment says, Gretchen. It doesn't say the right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's the second half of it. Which, by the way, shall not be infringed means only one thing, and it does not allow you to ban firearms at the Capitol. But let's get into what it actually says, because it's a unique amendment, because it actually says the why. It says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's why we were there keeping and bearing arms, because we understand, as the Founding Fathers did, the necessity of having a well-regulated militia. Now, regulated, just so you know, Gretchen, because it doesn't seem like you're very up on many of the facts here. Regulated, in the context, in the time period it was used, didn't mean restricted and regulated like a government regulation. No, it didn't mean like that. No, it meant well-regulated, well-trained, well-organized, at the ready, a proper, a fit, a force to be reckoned with. That's what they meant by a regulated militia. And it said that this well-trained militia was necessary to the security of a free state. So we were there because we are smart enough to know that it's necessary to the security of a free state. That's why there were militias there. That's why there were people there that were keeping and bearing arms, because we just don't trust the government. And we didn't have firearms there to hurt anybody because nobody got hurt. We had firearms there to protect ourselves from you. All right, guys, make sure you call your state reps, your state senators. There's recall going on right now for the governor. I'd like to see her out. I don't believe she has our best interest. That's just my thing. But we've got to stop this commission. Put pressure on all of your elected representatives, like I said before. Give them a call. Call them, write them, tell all your friends and family. We have to do this together, and we have to stop this commission from treading on our God-given rights. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.